Oliver, it's a long-time Lex slogan. Every Russian gas company should have an Italian tire maker.
It is, and that's exactly what Rosneft's gone and done today. It's invested money in Pirelli, the Italian tire company. It's quite a complex deal, but at the end of it, it ends up with a minority stake, but no less a stake in Pirelli.
Now, is there any industrial logic whatsoever to this? Is there a good reason for Pirelli to have a Rosneft to have a minority stake here? What are they planning on?
Well, the companies already have cooperation agreements with each other. Rosneft sells Pirelli tires in its gas stations in Russia, particularly winter tires, obviously a big sell in Russia. So that's one area of commercial cooperation. The other side is that the two are working together to develop synthetic rubber products, which often use oil and that sort of product. So there is some commercial cooperation. Now, whether you need to have an equity stake in order to do that kind of cooperation isn't clear. I can't see why you do, but nevertheless, Rosneft clearly thinks there's a benefit.
Right. So tell me a little bit about the structure of the deal. Is there anything with a 26% stake other than that?
So sitting behind all this is a sort of regularly cycled stake in Pirelli. Particularly, it's a 26% stake, which is partly owned by Marco Tronchetti Provera, who's the chairman and chief executive, partly owned by a couple of banks, and the other part was owned by an Italian private equity firm. And it's that Italian private equity firm that Rosneft is buying out. And there are various reasons why Mr. Tronchetti Provera would rather have Rosneft as a partner than the private equity firm. That's largely to do with the structure of the deal when the private equity people came in last year.
So this is a preferable shareholder for the boss. How come?
Because there was a chance that he could have lost control of the business in 2017. It all revolves around an agreement that will kick in 2017 about the price at which the private equity group will be allowed to sell this stake. And there was a risk that they could sell it from under the feet of the chairman and he could lose control.
Did Rosneft get a sweetheart deal?
The details haven't been made clear. All the statements this morning are very vague and no one's saying very much about it. So it's difficult to know exactly what Rosneft's long-term intentions are. And I think that's one of the problems. If you're an outside shareholder in Pirelli and you're watching all of this kind of stuff turning around, you might say, it doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect the business of buying and making tyres, but it does affect the long-term ownership of the group and the long-term control of the group. And I think if you're an outside shareholder and you like the tyre industry, you'd have to ask yourself, why do I want to be involved in Pirelli with this never-ending shareholder list? There are other good tyre companies out there. I could just as well invest in them.
Very good, Oliver. Thanks.